What's up, you guys? Sasha Boss here, and today I just got finished up listening to Sabaton's new album, The War to End All Wars. Okay, this is my album review to Sabaton's latest album, which is The War to End All Wars. This album is a sequel to their latest album, or the previous album, called The Great War. So The Great War is World War I. This is World War II. We're talking about here. This is Sabaton's latest album. If you don't know this already, I'm a massive Sabaton fan. They really got me into heavy metal. And this band is phenomenal. Okay, so if you didn't know this about me, so today's video is all about the review
of Sabaton's War to End All Wars. Well, the first question I have for myself is, did I like this album? Well, yes. This Sabaton album is one of the heaviest Sabaton albums they have released by far. They got so many riffs in this album, and it is incredible. This album is much heavier because they got some of the black metal feel, non-traditional to the power metal you all know and love, but still get the
unique, distinct Sabaton sound and feel and vibes to many of the songs. Okay, so how does this album compare to other albums from Sabaton released? I told you, this album is pretty much deeper and more well advanced. It's almost the new school version of Sabaton compared to the classical stuff you've been listening to for many years, many months now. Different things like that. That's what the original Sabaton sounds like, but they really advanced it and still have the classical Sabaton flair, with the new almost black and slash darker metal versions to this album. So that's pretty much what this album has in common with everything else. That's how it compares to the other albums. Okay, so why do we love Sabaton? Well, they're an amazing band. They actually put on amazing shows, amazing performances, amazing songs, and the vocals are awesome. The stories are well done, and teaches us how humanity changed from its past to make it to the present day future. Okay. So what does this album have to do with anything? Well, this album, like I said, it has to do with the Second Great War. There's so much things and so much stories from this album that really make sense for this time period. And some things I wish they included, but they didn't include, sadly, in this album. But they sort of did, if you ask me. Okay, so my favorite song from this album, guys, is this song called... my favorite song is called Lady in the Dark. Lady in the Dark is about this bad blood female soldier who entered the trenches in no man's land, just to take on the other side, the other opponents, because this person literally is selfless, takes on her own actions, and she is a Lady of the Dark. She was phenomenal. It's almost like Night Witches, which is my favorite Sabaton song. It was beautiful. It has a really good story, a really strong message, and a song I really wanted you guys to listen to. This song was outstanding. The riffs were really good. The vocals were amazing. This album has it all for me, to be honest. So my only gripe about this album, they needed at least 2 more songs. I was expecting one more ballad for this ballad, but there's no ballads really in this album. It's only kind of up like that. But the major gripe I have with this album, it does not feature Tommy singing. Yes, that's my only gripe. I have my fingers crossed to see Tommy eventually sing like one Sabaton song. Hopefully get that eventually, but I'm not sure if he will. Another gripe I have with this album, it needed a ballad, and also needed a little bit more of like history and vocals. I really enjoy that to understand the story. Another gripe I have too, some of the songs, I wish they included one more song to end the war, if you know what I mean. A war to honestly close off everything what happened, because there's so much that happened really left you off in this album, which I'm okay with. If you don't know this already, I'm a pretty big fan of World War II. That's one of my favorite subjects to learn about in school, favorite subjects in history. I always found it a really fascinating time, because almost like humanity's like technologically getting advanced and advanced with modern warfare, and learning from different sides, like from the German forces to the U.S. forces and through the world's point of view. It's just very fascinating in my own opinion. So I wish they kind of closed out the war and how everyone knows how it ended. They sort of did with a treaty, but I really wish they had a song which is a little bit of a black metal version of what they did. It's almost like what they did with Uprising, but with a sequel to Uprising. Like a reprise to that song. If you know what I mean. Sorry for nerding you guys out about my love of history. Sorry. Okay, that's my only major gripe. So this album really features a lot of the new school elements to Sabaton. Sabaton actually advanced in their songs a lot. They actually use a lot of black metal in this album, which was a little bit surprising to me, because Sabaton, if you know them, it's a classical sound with the guitars and the drums. You know it's the Sabaton song. But when you add a little like deeper in the heavy metal genre, you get a black metal. Black metal is sometimes very rare, I heard, from different albums like this. Sabaton really utilized this element and mixed it up beautifully with their power metal. And the collaboration between the two were outstanding, because some of the riffs were heavier than expected. I was headbanging with it, with the horns. The first time I listened to it, it was spectacular. Oh, it still is. I love this album, and Sabaton absolutely killed it with their new stuff. And some of the old school vibes too. I got a lot of Heroes. If you're familiar with the Heroes album, you know some of the Heroes stories. They actually had some of the triumphant tales, almost like the riffs of the guitar sounded a lot like the Heroes album, surprising or not, which is kind of funny because I love what Sabaton does. They always almost add things just for the fans who've been following the band for a while, and yeah, I thought it was really cool. They actually included some of the old school hero stuff, which is a surprise to me. It really made me smile listening to a couple of songs that actually sounded like that. I got a lot of new school stuff. Also, the riffs in this album were much heavier. Some of the guitar solos in the songs were awesome. There's so much I like about these riffs. They go up and down. They actually feel like actual gunfire at times. That's how beautiful Sabaton utilizes their sounds. They make it unique and make it different from other bands. That's why I love Sabaton. They're always a unique and very creative band when it comes to riffs and organizing different instrumental pieces to their songs, which are also something I really like. Some of my favorite elements of a Sabaton album are just some of the riffs, and it feels really good to get a Sabaton album again. I've been waiting a very long time for this album, to be honest. When it was first teased, I'm like, yes! So I'm hoping they release US tour dates soon, because I would love to see them. Before I go on with the stories with this album, I want to talk to you guys about one thing really fast, which is my least favorite song before I get on to the stories. So the number one song I was looking forward to in this album was the album, it was called Stormtroopers. If you know me, I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and when I knew they were releasing a Stormtroopers song, it immediately kicked in my little Star Wars in me. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be really interesting, because if you not know this already, George Lucas really influenced Stormtroopers from World War II for inspiration for the Stormtroopers we know and all love from Star Wars. Yes, he actually influenced using them. The Stormtroopers are pretty much German soldiers who were almost like flamethrowers, but they're almost like a heavier duty regular soldier. But they're more of like a utility and mostly just like well trained and specially skilled elite soldiers. Pretty much was what Stormtroopers are all about. And it was really interesting how Sabaton told the tale of that. It's like my least favorite song, even though I love everything from this album. There's some things I want to know more about, like the drought and like Hellfighters. I want to know a little bit more about those. I'm assuming some of the songs are about like water confrontations in the battle, which was really interesting too. The one thing I wish they could have done was a Pearl Harbor song, because that really significantly set us off for World War II, which is something that I know is really dark, but also I thought it would just be kind of cool to have that jingoism plus World War II vibes in there, but they didn't really do that. Other than that, this album of Sabaton was insane. I highly recommend it to a lot of Sabaton lovers. If you love Sabaton, I highly recommend this album. I give it a 10 out of 10. If you're a history buff and you love learning about World War II and where we came from, this album is for you. Other than that, this Sabaton album was breathtaking. So other than that, you guys, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see more heavy metal reviews / power metal band reviews, please leave in the comments what album I should review next. And other than that, I'm out of here, and thank you guys for watching. See ya. Bye.